Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Today, inshallah, we will try to cover this topic of al-halal wal-haram. Al-halal is what is lawful, haram is what is prohibited. And almost all this presentation is taken from this book by Sheikh al-Qaradawi. It is called Al-Halal wal-Haram in Islam, and alhamdulillah the English translation is available. This is a must for every Muslim's house. I believe we do have it here, brother. We have it here in the bookstore. So Spanish? Definitely in English it exists, inshallah. So as you can see, it's a topic that is covered by a book in details, and we don't claim that we shall cover the book in this less than an hour presentation, but inshallah we'll try to cover the essential that will allow us to live as Muslims. And I would inshallah trust that you will try to get this book. Whoever cannot get this book, let me know that you will try to get this book. Whoever cannot get this book, let me know, inshallah, and we will make sure that you get it if you don't have it already. So, as an outline, these are the first thing is, what are the Islamic principles on prohibiting something or making something lawful? They are principles under which or by which Islam goes to determine what is halal and what is haram. And then, of course, the arenas of what is halal and haram are quite broad, and we will probably cover, we may not be able to cover all of these today. We will cover areas pertaining to food and drink, areas pertaining to clothing and adornment, work and earning. What can we work? How can we earn our livelihoods? Of course, the big area of natural desires that pertain to the attraction of the sexes, and what is acceptable and what is haram. And then social relations. How do we manage our social relations? How do we treat one another? And so forth. I don't think we will get into the last two, which are popular beliefs and customs that people do and that are not acceptable to Islam. And of course, business transactions, how to sell, how to not increase the prices so that, or how to not store merchandise so that the prices go up and then we give it to people at a higher price. Even people may need it and we know that we have it. So this is a practice that is not acceptable to the Sharia. Sharia is the legislator, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So quickly, these are the fundamental principles on halal and haram. The first one is that the asl is the foundation or the principle, is that everything is permissible unless it has been prohibited. So the asl in things is that they are halal unless there is a clear muharrama, clear abolition or something that made it haram by a text. Prohibition and making lawful is the domain of the creator. It is not the domain of the created. And therefore, no one can make something that Allah has made halal to be haram. And vice versa, if something was made by a clear text haram, no one has the right or the ability to make it halal. And people should not listen to anyone who tries to do that, because that's the dominion of the Creator. It's Allah Azza wa Jal that legislates in matters of halal and haram. Scholars only derive a decision if it is not clear. They don't make haram or halal. They derive based on the text. They come to conclusion on what haram is and what halal is. They don't make halal or haram. It's based on the texts. Also, anyone attempting to enter this arena and tries to do that, which is try to make halal something that is haram, and vice versa, is committing shirk. That type of activity is committing shirk, which is the biggest sin in the sight of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives every sin except an yushraka bihi, except shirk. And so this is a major sin to play in this area and try to be the legislator instead of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, there was a group of Christians that visited Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, priests and rabbis, priests, and then Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam told them, you are making shirk. They said, no, we don't make shirk. He said, yes, you do make shirk. They said, no. And then he told them, don't you forbid what Allah made halal? And don't you make halal what Allah has forbidden? And they said, yes. In your practice, said yes. He said, that is your shirk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Prohibition. Why is something haram? Especially in matters of food and drink. What is haram is because it's either impure or because it's harmful. That's why things are haram. And in fact, even in activities, the activities that are haram, it's because of their impurity and their harmfulness. Harmfulness is not only on the person, but it's also on the family and the social structure. You take the example of alcohol and drugs, for example. Also, when we say harmful, people may say, listen, if I do this in this and this quantity, it doesn't harm me. But the Islamic point of view is that whether it is known or it is not known by scientific or medical reasons or research, it does not stop it from being haram, because Allah has made it so, and we are the believers. So we obey Allah Azza wa Jal, and we take it as it is. Whether the medical community has discovered what is haram, why, or it has not yet discovered, or science will discover it 200 years from now or 1,000 years from now. It doesn't matter. And the reason here is that the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, beside what they saw as the effect of alcohol, for example, or drugs, they did not have the research of the body of knowledge that we have today. That has developed centuries later. It did not stop them from pouring all the wine that they had when this verse of prohibition of wine was revealed. Because it is, as the brother was saying in the previous hadith, it is this obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this faith in Allah's orders. Also, one of the principles is that, as we stated earlier, what is halal is sufficient, because we said that most of the things are halal unless they are prohibited. Therefore, what is halal is much, much broader than what has been prohibited. Also, what is halal is sufficient. We don't need the haram to live. We don't need the haram to survive. Haram is superfluous. It's not necessary.